an ancient weapon. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This episode, we're going to talk about some Billy D. Williams, a possible casting for episode 9, and other stuff. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome to episode 75.
75. Quarter of a century.
I think you already made that
I think
joke.
I made reference to
You made that joke before.
that. No. That it feels like we've been doing this for 100 years.
Yeah. Every episode feels like 100 years.
Aren't we coming up on our
Anniversary.
2-year anniversary? 3-year, right? 2 or 3 year?
years.
Is it 2 years?
3 year.
yeah,
I think it's 3.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
'cause
in August.
2015.
It's like the week after my wedding anniversary, I think.
That's what we decided to do.
Yeah.
In 2015.
I'm married now. I need an escape.
I need something that I can do besides this wife over here.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do a Star Wars.
Yeah, so it's sometime in August. It means nothing to anyone. So who cares?
What, the show? That's true.
Yeah, or the anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, what's been going on with you lately?
Adult things, but not the good kind of adult things, the boring ones.
Menopause.
Yeah, that's it. Those hot and or cold flashes. Hoo boy. Let me tell you.
Give me that ice and or hot potato. Is that what you do when you get a cold flash?
Yeah.
You just shove a hot carrot up there.
Shove it somewhere.
Just a steamed carrot.
Nope.
Baby, throw those carrots in the steamer.
I've got a flash coming. Steam the vegetables.
Menopause just hit. Get those steamed carrots ready.
What do we got? Cauliflower. It'll do.
Oh shit, put those steamed carrots in the freezer. I done switched.
No,
I don't know how any of that works.
Nope.
I don't know if that's obvious.
2 men talking about menopause. It's
Hey, there's men in the
everything
word.
that's wrong with our society.
There's men in the word. You'd think that's enough of an entryway for us, right?
That's what we would like you to think.
Not all men know about menopause.
No, the boring part of adulthood with the parenting and the children driving me insane, where I feel like I'm 400 years old, but I'm only 30.
Okay.
But I'm speeding towards death.
So I told you
That's
this.
my week.
I told you this the other day, but I don't know if he's listening or not. But my brother,
Oh yeah.
told me the other day. Talk about something that makes you feel really old. But my brother the other
People
day.
listening to this are gonna be like, "Who is this band he's about to mention?"
I hope not, because I would feel extra old.
Yeah.
So I over at my parents' house for July 4th, my brother came up, my youngest brother, youngest in the family, comes up to me the other day and is like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this band System of a Down? I just found them the other day."
It's that scene at the end of Saving Private Ryan where Matt Damon, like, it fades to him being old in the graveyard. It's that feeling just in like 2 seconds where you suddenly feel like the oldest person alive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what happens in that moment.
It's like
Where you're just like, there's like this long sigh, and during that sigh, you gain 100 wrinkles, and a cane appears in your hand.
and you're weeping over the grave of your wife or,
Right.
or whatever. No, it was his
comrades,
people, right?
yeah. So at that point, did you just like look
Sean,
at
I'm
him?
not, if you're listening to this, I'm not making fun of you. I feel really old when you say things like that.
We're both proud that you've found good music. me and your brother are proud of you.
Speak for yourself. Although I used to listen to a lot of System of a Down.
You don't like System of a Down now?
No, I still listen to it. There are still some albums that I like.
It's good
but
music.
I just don't listen to it as much because it's like 30 years old now or
You're
whatever it is. How old is it now? Was
It's
it
very old?
early 2000s, right?
It's old enough that I think they can't have a reunion now because it's been too long.
Well, you cross the threshold at some point and it becomes like
Irrelevant.
yeah. Well, there's a small period of time in between where it's like No, it's been way too long. Like,
But then
it's
once
too
we're
late.
50, if they did, we'd be
But
like,
then
oh yeah,
Yeah, but
like
then
the
you
Eagles
cross
or something.
that, right? But then you cross that, or
Right.
Led Zeppelin or something. You cross that, and then it's like, oh yeah, remember that band back in the 50s?
You have to. There's like a 10-year period where you can reunite, and then there's 20 years where you can't.
Because it's been too.
And
long.
then after that 20 years, you can do it again.
Suddenly,
because it's
yeah.
been long enough.
Because everything comes back.
Right.
So yeah, I feel 1,000 years old now.
Have you ever heard of this band, System of a Down? I unearthed the cassette in my yard. Started listening to it. It was fantastic.
Who's burying cassettes of System of a Down in their yard?
I don't know. It made me think of like when they buried the cassettes of E.T. for Atari. The cartridges for that.
cartridges.
Imagine someone like being embarrassed by their cassette collection and burying them somewhere, and your brother happening upon them.
In his excavation work of people's front yards. He comes in with a crew.
I don't know his life.
He comes in with a crew. All right, he's got a hard hat and a clipboard.
All right, these people look old. They probably got something good. All right,
Let's
so
go,
digging.
come on.
Yeah.
A whole front loader and everything go wheels up.
Just roll up to random people's yard, take a big scoop of their yard, and then drive away. Is that what's happening?
So this is like a B&E kind of thing.
Yeah.
You got to get in and get out as fast as possible.
I wonder what is the. I mean, obviously that's illegal, but technically you're not on their property.
You're not on their yard. The yard is their property.
Well, yeah, but you're not on it.
What do you
mean? I
mean?
guess the tool would be reaching
Oh,
over.
if it's from the
scooping.
street?
Yeah. You're just driving up to the curb in a backhoe, scooping a large part of their yard and then taking off.
Oh,
I assume there's some kind of legal loophole that we could abuse there to just start scooping people's yards.
Probably looking for buried System of a Down cassettes.
Or anything.
Oh yeah, or anything.
Maybe we just need piles of dirt.
People.
Yeah.
Diapers.
Well, that's the
anyway. That's
us
my
being old.
life.
If anyone's younger than 30, just wait when 30 hits. That's the moment you feel like an old person. For some reason, that's when it happened.
Yeah.
I was pretty good at 29. I felt okay.
Like you had a future.
And I've been 30 for a month and a half, and I already feel like I'm a 50-year-old, and everything is not the same.
I know. You get that feeling too, where it's like suddenly in the last 3 to 5 years, everything has changed, and you have no idea why, and everything is
You
stupid.
feel like an old person just like lost in your neighborhood and can't remember which street your house is on. That's suddenly how I feel sometimes.
Okay, well, it's not quite that bad for me.
It's not the full Alzheimer's, but it's like the first hint of dementia. You're like, what? Why is everything so shitty? When did this happen?
Well, yeah, it's more anger for me, not just feeling lost in a mall.
No, yeah.
It's more like
Angry that the mall is full of shitty kids.
Yeah, like the mall is all made out of cotton candy.
I'm supposed to be the shitty kid, not you. Get out of my mall. As you hit them with your walker.
What about my plaid shirts and Converse? Yeah, everything is just dumb and shitty now. And I can't tell if it's just this climate or it's just me getting old now.
Which is great for us to talk about on a Star Wars podcast where all of the Star Wars fans are talking about how everything is dumb and shitty already.
Wow.
Now we're just talking about everything else. Star Wars is the only good thing left. We're the opposite. We're everything
Don't hear
else.
what we're not saying.
Everything else sucks. Star Wars is still good. We're still cool with that. We think everything else is dumb and shitty.
Okay, most things are dumb and shitty. I won't use what's the word?
Superlative?
Exaggerators.
I will curb my exaggeration and say that most of the things are in fact the shitty.
What are you, our president?
Making up words and being unable to speak?
Somehow balancing on this fence of making up words and
trying to sound smart.
saying things as dumb and simply as possible. Okay, let's talk about Star Wars now.
All right, scooping past that. Speaking of being old, we talked last episode about Billy D. Williams supposedly being in episode 9.
Uh-huh.
The rumors that he was going to be in it, and it sounds like
the rumor does is true.
The rumor comes out.
Oh,
Does Billy D be in 9? So last episode, it was just kind of rumored that he was going to be in episode 9. So there's been some just tracking the news that has come out about that. The great website Fantha Tracks on June 18th had a source told them Billy D was going to be in the film. The source asked them to verify with another source, independent source that they could find, and they did, and confirmed that it was correct, that he would be in 9, and that filming on episode 9, of course, starts in July. It's starting soon, like in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it's they said expect official confirmation. So then, in between that and June 28th, so in a 10-day period, comic book, the CBR website, which is Comic Book Resource Report, says that it was found that Williams was recently training 3 times a week and following a strict diet, which suggests that he's getting in shape for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then on June 28th, the Saskatchewan Entertainment Expo convention stated that Billy D. Williams has pulled out of the expo, which is in September, saying that that he's pulling out due to a film schedule conflict. So the assumption is now that with all of these various things, him being like getting ready, fit for something, and him pulling out of an expo in September when the film starts filming in July,
right? Pretty close.
Pretty lines up with the fact that Billy D. Williams will definitely be in 9.
Yeah, yeah.
I expect that to be announced fairly soon, if not leaked.
I remember reading somewhere there was some source saying that this 9 is supposed to be a return to the familiar, kind of a thing.
What, because of JJ?
Well, yeah, a couple of reasons. Probably, I'd imagine the reception to The Last Jedi maybe has something to do with it.
But I feel it's hard to judge that too, because Rian Johnson does not give a shit what you think about his movie. Like, he accepts your criticism, and that's your criticism.
Well, yeah, but he's not involved in this one.
But compared to other directors who are like, screw you, when people go online and
get defensive about
Rian Johnson just kind of trolls people.
Yeah.
And it was like, yay, happy, good for you type of thing. He's very cool dude about it. I don't know how you get through that. People just being shitty to you all the time, all day.
Constantly, yeah.
Which I guess it's fairly easy to ignore social media after a point. But even then, like, anything else about The Last Jedi, it financially did well, despite what people want to think. For a film, it did well.
Yeah.
And for a Star Wars film, it did well. I don't think anyone really cares what the reception to the actual story was. Do you? Like Disney or Kathleen?
Well, from whose perspective?
I don't think Kathleen cares. Like, I think to her the story.
Well, okay, so we talked about this.
There's that line of like having to care about money, but not because of the product, the heart of the thing.
We talked about this with Solo in the last episode, where I bet Lucasfilm as a company and Kathleen and say like Ron Howard and everything, they don't necessarily care about all the negative reactions, but then at the same time, there was a reaction to Solo.
It sounds like, especially if the films are getting cut, if they're not doing those story films anymore.
And the reaction to Solo was nowhere near as divisive as The Last Jedi, right?
The only reaction was the financial one,
right,
for Solo. There was not an outcry. Like,
okay, well, yeah,
there was not an outcry of like, this is a piece of shit.
I guess it
was more like people just didn't go see it because
this one is
they expected it to be a piece of shit.
It's like the opposite side of the coin. It made a good amount of money, but the reaction was very divisive
for The Last Jedi.
For Last Jedi,
right?
Yeah. Whereas Solo didn't make as much money as they were expecting, but maybe had I'd say a net positive reaction.
And the problem with Episode 9 is like, even if you didn't like 8. You're probably still gonna see 9 as much as people want to bitch about it because you want to see how it wraps up.
Yeah,
like you can't.
It's gonna be.
We're all Star Wars fans. Even the shitty Star Wars fans can't stop themselves from going to see it. And like, did they fix it? Because there's going to be that side of it too.
Right.
Which there's nothing to fix because Episode 8 was fantastic.
Right.
Screw you. So, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be. I don't know. There hasn't been any. It doesn't seem like there's been any negativity on it from the production people, the producers, the film company. But then you have 9 happening, which they got JJ back for because it definitely needed help story-wise because it's Colin. And we've talked about that being kind of half worried about the fact that JJ Abrams is actually coming back. As much as we liked 7, can he fit the tone that 9 needs?
Mm-hmm.
Because it does have to have a specific tone. It can't go back to the happy go feel goods of 7. Because that's not what you need to wrap up a film series that got really dark.
Right.
But then you're like you were saying, it's going back to a familiar, like to familiar as well. So it's still that like I don't know what it's gonna be, this one.
What is
Like you saying, like there's that rumor
story-wise?
of it going back to
Yeah.
familiarity.
Yeah.
So is that like the familiarity of 7, which I don't think 9 needs?
See, I don't know though.
When we talked about
because
7 needed that. 7 needed that
to get people back into it.
7 needed that feeling of home
Yeah.
to bring us into a new story.
Yeah.
Then Ryan punched us in the gut with like,
Right.
"Ha! I got you, bitch." Which I think it needed, because it needed to be, as much as people want it to be the same but different.
Yeah.
They're like, I want something different, but I want it to be the same while it's different and different than the same. A same difference with the different sameness.
Give me the different same.
And they don't know what they want, but that's exactly what we needed. Where it's like it's the same.
Breaking conventions and
Where it's like, this is a new Star Wars,
taking
and
it
like
in a new direction
different stuff
and-
happens.
yeah,
It's not
all
the
the-
same damn story every time we make a movie,
right.
which is kind of what the prequels were.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to fall into that rut with your films.
Right.
And I enjoyed the fact that like, holy shit, this is like, that's not what I expected, and I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I
Mhm.
didn't expect Luke to be that way, and
be
it
so
makes
real.
perfect sense why he was that way.
To be so real.
It's still, yeah, it still hurts that people are shitty. Don't use brains. But yeah, like I was like, yes, that you explained why the things happened,
Uh-huh.
and this is totally different and unexpected, and I love it.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna be like, and now 9 is in this like total vortex of, well, some shit happened in real life and in the movie,
Yeah.
and we've got to figure that out. And like, where's this gonna go?
Right.
And so with you talking about it being going back to the familiar,
Yeah.
there's that hesitation in me of like, okay, so what's the
What
what
part
does
is
that
familiar?
mean? Right? Like, what does that mean going back to the familiar? Like, never mind, everything's good here now. How are you?
I don't think. Well, the whole point of the new canon has been, well, first of all, let the main movies tell the main story, the main,
Right.
backbone of this new canon, and then the books and comics and everything fill that out. But
Right.
also, it's a reference everything that's been made so far. Like there's all these cross references between media and things now.
I guess so. I didn't feel that so much in episode 8. That
Well,
I can
I wouldn't say
remember.
it's necessarily coming from the movies so much.
Like
I
everything
guess
else
it's
is
more,
referencing everything else.
yeah. Yeah,
I
maybe
get
it's more
that.
the other media
Yeah, I
that's
get that.
referencing other things, but well, I mean, even in Solo though, there were references to Batu, and like that
Yeah.
stuff is being put in there a lot. But it's like as a new when a new movie comes out and establishes certain things as part of the story, certain locations and people and events and stuff, that now becomes available for reference in other media.
Right.
I forget where I was going with that.
Well, it started with that worry
What
of
was I
that term
saying?
of going back to the familiar. Like, what does that mean? And is that a good thing?
Yeah, I forget where I was. I had some train of thought with that, but I don't know. The I don't think they would necessarily. Oh, I remember now. You were asking if they were gonna almost like reset and be like, okay, well, that was interesting, but
Ha!
back to the.
It was all a dream.
Yeah. Meanwhile, yeah. No, I was saying it seems like once canon has been established now, that's like okay, that's
Right.
happened.
They
So
don't seem
now,
to. They don't seem to.
there's no. Well, I was gonna say there's no retconning, but that's happening all the time now.
I mean,
For the old stuff,
well, like-
explaining why old stuff was a certain way and all these quirks and loopholes and things. Why.
And like comics and stuff like that, explaining like, well, this
Right.
is why that thing happened in that movie. That
right,
didn't
there's
make
a
sense.
ton of retconning going on,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm saying more like
with the new stuff.
yeah, with the new stuff, I don't think they would go back and say, okay, well, oh, that was great, but
Well, that shows a lack of confidence, and it shows a lack of preparation, a lack of like
Well, it's kind of
cohesion.
betraying all of the fans, really. It's saying, well, first of all, you wipe out all this old Legends canon and say, okay, here's all this new canon. But then, if then you were on top of that, go back to events in a previous movie and say, oh, well, that's not really what happened. That would just be a big betrayal and I don't know, it'd be kind of shitty, I think.
Right.
Just from a storytelling perspective, I think that would be shitty. You know,
well,
forget the fans and stuff, but
yeah,
that's what they said when they made Last Jedi. Forget the fans. I want Luke to be unrelatable and mean and old and not make any sense and make everybody angry.
Which at the old age of 30 made perfect sense of why he was old and angry at everything because the shit happened.
I'm joking.
Right. But yeah, like you said, I think there is that strength in like, okay, the stories we're telling are the stories we're telling, and we're not going to go back on something we told.
Yeah. So I think if it does return to familiar, I think it's going to be more
if it's that big of a problem though, like we've talked before, some of the stuff with Rey and her parents like could very much be turned into Ben lying to try to get her to be a part.
Oh, like we were talking about before. Yeah.
There's stuff that they could twist to be like, haha,
some of that ambiguous
gotcha
stuff.
because you didn't like that other thing we said because they left it ambiguous.
But see, that would in
but
my
did
mind,
Ryan leave it ambiguous for that, or was it meant to not be ambiguous but it came across that way? Right.
I think all of those types of things were like strong hints in The Last Jedi. Like,
right.
Ryan in his mind has the right answer.
Right. But I don't think he was allowed to give the closure.
No, I don't think it was necessarily that. I think it was he was just trying to leave it a little bit open, leave some room for other storytellers to put a twist on it.
I guess so.
I wouldn't say
which I think is fair.
Restricted.
I think is fair to do.
Yeah, maybe.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, JJ's coming back, and there's been all this flack. But it's been flack from really shitty people.
Yeah,
For the most part, there are people that have valid concerns with the movie who saw it and didn't
like what?
Yell about empowered women and black people. So the people that didn't yell about that stuff, who didn't like it, like their dislike is valid because they saw it and they don't like it for one reason or another. Whether their reasons make sense to me or not, whatever, that's your opinion because that's how opinions work. If you're if you're being racist and sexist, that's not an opinion. You're an asshole.
That's true.
So there are valid opinions, but are there enough of those opinions of like that was dumb for JJ to be like, okay, here's Rey's mom.
Just pans over and she's just there.
Hey. She was always there,
and then goes back, and that's it. Oh, by the way, this is my mom. Just pans over.
She's been here the whole time.
Hey.
It's one of those freeze frame like monologue things. Well, you might be wondering how I got here.
This is me.
Hi, I'm Rey's mom.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say with the
which we got onto all of this talking about Billy Dee coming back.
Yeah. You were talking about how like Force Awakens started out strong and then Last Jedi was a little bit of a dip but it still was, it made a good amount of money.
As in like what? As far as reception, yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, reception but financially too.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like my personal preference of the films. Like that's not at all what I was saying.
No.
I mean, obviously there was a financial dip, which I think would be expected because it wasn't the return of Star Wars.
It went from 936 million to 620 million between Force Awakens and Last Jedi. But if you go back to what I was going
domestically, because it grossed like 2 million. Like Force Awakens was $2 billion.
Worldwide was $2 billion. Worldwide for Last Jedi was 1.3 billion.
Oh no.
Well, yeah.
Oh no, all of our money.
But where I was going with that was with A New Hope, that opened domestically 460 million. Empire was 290 million.
Right. It's following the exact same path.
Exactly.
Crap, there's this whole brand new thing that just came out and like won for $2 billion. Like this is the return of Star Wars that like everyone in existence has loved since childhood.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
And so it's like everyone went to see it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, hashtag not my Star Wars for valid reasons or not valid reasons. And then Last Jedi came out and people either cared or they didn't.
Yeah.
And it, obviously like more than 3/4 of the people still cared and saw it.
Right.
And now there's going to be another drop off because I think Jedi dropped off past that, right? Or did it do better?
Well, no. So that's what I was saying was, so New Hope was 460 million, Empire was 290, Return of the Jedi was 309 million.
It's a little bit back up.
The prequels follow the same kind of thing
Same
too,
path.
where Phantom was 474, Attack of the Clones was 310, and Revenge of the Sith was 380. So it's like there's
just
this
barely back up.
There's this dip in the middle, and then it comes up a little bit past the second movie, but not
It's
quite.
following the exact same path
Right.
that the Star Wars fandom has followed.
So I think this movie will be received better. It's going to have a different feel for sure. Whether, I don't know what that familiar feeling is going to be necessarily, but it's going to have a different feel to it than The Last Jedi for sure. It's going to make more than The Last Jedi did, and probably have a net more positive reaction than Last Jedi. I mean, those aren't big predictions.
It depends, because this is supposedly the end, right?
This is the end of the Skywalker saga. That's what we've been told.
Yes. The end of the Skywalker saga, which, I mean, all the Skywalkers are gone, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, except for Ben is a Skywalker adjacent.
Yeah.
He's half.
Uh-huh.
So
is he going to die in this one then?
Right, there's that. And then, like, so is this the end of, like, Star Wars sagas? Like, these grand saga, is this the end? Or does it continue with Rey and Finn and Poe after the fact?
Well, we already know that Rey and Poe and Finn and everybody are going to show up in later movies, but we don't know what.
We?
Yeah. Kathleen said that, or somebody said that at some point. This was years ago, though. I think this is around when Last Jedi was first coming out.
Right. So, like, maybe they'll have their own movies after. So there's, like, so depending on how it ends, there either may be a continuation of, like, the saga will flow through to a continued saga.
Yeah.
And the reception to how this saga ends will be like, okay, is that saga even going to begin? Because people just don't like these characters.
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
One's a woman, one's black, and one's Latino. Right, and America caught on fire. They saw that, and just America just sawed itself off from Canada and lit itself on fire.
Like in a cartoon.
Right, Bugs Bunny sawed off Canada.
Wasn't it Florida?
Yeah, it was always Florida. Yes.
The one I'm thinking of.
I understand.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
That's exactly how it's supposed to be used. Yeah, so I mean, which I mean, maybe good. Maybe this is the point where all those shitheads drop off, and we don't have to deal with them with Star Wars anymore because they'll give up.
No, because.
Or will they just always be screaming and yelling because they'll be like, I'll see this next Star Wars, but it better not have a woman in it. It has a woman in it. Well, I'll see the next one and I'll tell you if it's got a woman in it.
Like, boycott.
At what point do you give up, you piece of trash? You trash fire of a person.
No, yeah, there's always going to be people complaining because especially with these new movies after 9, there's no more old stuff anymore. It's all new at this point.
Right.
I mean, it may be building on a foundation of old stuff, but
well, we know. I mean,
there's no Skywalker anymore.
If Luke is at all in 9, which I don't know,
Force Ghost. It has to
possibly.
He has to show up as a Force Ghost, right?
I don't know.
He has to.
I don't know.
See, I'm willing
if
to
there
bet
is no,
on that.
if there's no Leia, because they said they weren't going to do CGI, right?
Right.
So if there's no Leia. And Han wasn't even in 8, so Han's done.
Yeah.
If there's no Leia and there's no Luke in 9, there is no. We've got Billy D to like hold together. Like I'm the last one alive in the world of Star Wars. If we've got him, that's the only thing holding together because Akbar's gone, right? Like all these big main characters are gone.
All these big characters. You got Akbar.
That other guy. No, well, all the old British dudes are dead.
That's it.
Right. Most of the old British guys are dead.
Benedict Cumberbatch is dead?
Probably. So, at this point, like, everyone from the original trilogy is gone,
old
right?
British guys are you thinking of?
Like the Imperials. Like, obviously, they were never involved. Like, they're not in the movies.
Okay.
Like, the old Imperial guys.
I
from
still want to know what old British men you're thinking of.
Peter Cushing and the other
Others.
guys that I don't know their names, like Piet and like everybody that obviously died in the original trilogy.
Okay.
Like obviously none of those old people are in this. We brought 3 old people into the new trilogy. All of them died. And then we're like, oh, we've still got Billy D. Let's bring Lando in.
Oh, all of the original people you're talking about.
So they've got Lando back, but other than Lando, like
That's
no
what I'm
one's
saying.
no one's left. In 9, there is no remnant of the past at
You know
this
what
point,
would
other
be-
than Lando.
You know what would be amazing is if Yoda and Luke showed up as Force Ghosts together
That would be cool.
and had their like Yoda Luke
Dance number? Is that where you were going?
No, but
I imagine Luke's appearance on Muppet Show, and I say Luke because it was like a whole Star Wars themed Muppet Show episode.
Or he was on Pigs in Space as Luke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just imagine the Muppet Show at that point.
No, Yoda and Luke show up and they have their, Yoda Luke dynamic.
Banter. Someone gets hit on the head with a little wooden cane.
Yeah, where he's like still trolling him in the afterlife. Would that be great?
He better be in a backpack on Luke, even though they're Force ghosts.
That would be pretty funny.
He better be in a backpack.
But yeah, I don't know who else.
I mean, so at that point, like
I don't know who else could come
nine
back.
seems like the fresh start for like there's no remnant left of the previous story, right?
Yeah. Well, they're gonna set up another.
Other than
it's gonna be basically Bag Boy, but for Ray. I mean Broom Boy.
Broom Boy,
Not Bag Boy.
Bag Boy.
Not Broom Boy.
So I mean, and it depends on. So Kylo Ren has gone off the deep end at this point, right? We're all in agreement. Good. The eyes have it. And so he's gone off the deep end. And so how I wonder, and I've been thinking about this recently. I wonder what if Darth Vader will play into it anymore at all. If he'll still be trying to pull into this Darth Vader thing, and like Grandpa, give me strength.
But see, I feel like
Dearest Grandpa, I love you.
I feel like he's gonna be doubled down on that.
Or is it like at this point, is he like past that? We're like, no, I'm the shit now. Forget Darth Vader in my past. I am now that I wished to be, and he doesn't care anymore. Like that's what I was trying to think of. I was thinking of that this week.
That reminds me of another rumor.
Where does that go?
That reminds me of another rumor. That I wish I could remember the source for it again, but
is it another Hayden Christensen rumor?
No,
Okay.
but it's a rumor that the castle on Mustafar, Vader's castle on Mustafar, is going to show up.
That would be really cool.
So, which makes me that
Kylo
goes
Ren
back.
takes it over, and there's like emo posters
Exactly.
all over the wall.
Exactly.
A futon.
That's what makes me think he's going to double down on this stuff because that's the
Like
only.
I'm Darth Vader now.
That's the
like that
only
whole
thing that he feels quote unquote accepted by at this point, even though he's not really, and he has no idea.
It's this false reality he's created for himself, where he thinks Darth Vader is still like he was told about what happened with Darth Vader, right?
But what do you mean?
Like Ben Solo, like knows what happened with Anakin, right? Like he knows he was.
Well, that's a good question.
Does he know he was resolved of his?
Okay, let's take Last Jedi rules and apply real life rules to Star Wars,
right?
Because that's what happened there. I would say that he was kept in the dark about Vader to protect him as a kid.
Just like not told about what happened with him at all.
Which made him more curious. That kind of stuff happens in real life, where your parents try to protect you from things and shelter you.
Oh yeah, your grandpa died because he diddled a whore.
Because he diddled a whore?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. That's
not what happened.
You don't know?
These movies are for children.
No, I was talking real life. We were still talking about real life.
Oh, is this something
I hate to tell you about your grandpa.
My grandfather.
Yeah,
I was concerned for you.
No, your parents and I had a talk.
This is bullshit.
It was Syphilis.
This is bullshit. That was her name, the whore's name. Oh no, Aunt Syphilis. No, why?
If there's not a prostitute that goes by the name Syphilis, spelled differently, of course.
A sex worker, Tyler.
Sorry. If a person of the night.
Batman?
Take that as prostitute or vampire, whatever you want.
Syphilis is Batman now?
Sure. If there's not a prostitute that goes by the name Syphilis, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong with us. Why are we talking about this?
I know.
Anyway.
So anyway, your grandpa died of syphilis, and Kylo Ren and Darth Vader So you think he was kept in the dark?
I think he
just
was
to
kept in the
not-
dark, which made him more attracted
Which
to...
is what? Just another stupid decision by parents in the world to
Yeah.
not tell their parents, to not tell their children
Their
things.
children.
Be like, this happened, and this is why.
Right.
Don't do this.
That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing, which made him more interested, and he created this romanticized version of Vader in his
Which
head.
is what Anakin did with the romanticized version of the dark side, with Palpatine luring him, right? He romanticized the dark side for the power that was there.
Well, yeah, he saw it as a path, as a means to get what he wanted, I guess.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if Kylo is that directed.
He's not that deep.
No. It's very shallow.
It's very shallow of just like,
just an
I'm
emo
important,
kid.
look at me.
Yeah, just an emo kid.
Like
right.
no one, because no one trusted him. To him, no one trusted him. He did nothing wrong, and now he's going to prove that by being the best bad guy he can be.
Right. I mean, this whole thing started with a false reality, with the thing with Luke.
It's the teenage rebellion thing that like everyone goes through.
Yeah.
Of like, I've got black hair and Green Day albums. Mom, I'm not going to listen to Switchfoot anymore.
I imagine him holding both things in each hand, like the black hair and the Green Day albums.
Like a wig?
Yeah. I've got black hair and Green Day albums.
This is how I do it, right?
Suck it, Mom.
Yeah. I'm going to go hang out at Claire's. The store in the mall, not a girl's
Not the
house.
girl's house.
Yeah.
It's cute.
I need slap bracelets.
Oh, the pain.
Yes, that's what Kylo Ren is going through. It's that whole teen rebellion because no one trusted him for no
Yes,
reason.
the slap bracelet phase.
We're just like, where every parent is like, I was a teen once and I know I was a shithead, so you're definitely one. And they impress that upon you so that you turn into a shithead because they think you're going to be a shithead.
Oh, I thought that was going to be the parents were shitheads, and so they
made a shithead?
They try to do everything they can to not let this person be a shithead.
Right, and in that process, they push you away so you become a shithead on accident.
Or they put restrictions on you.
It's just like the process.
Which makes you interested.
We've both been through this literally in our lives.
Different sides of it.
Right.
They put restrictions on you to prevent you becoming a shithead, which makes you want to be a shithead even more.
Right, exactly. And that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Kylo did nothing wrong.
Yes.
Well, Ben did nothing wrong. And then everyone was like, oh no, he's going to be a piece of shit. And then he that was just Luke being fooled into thinking that, forcing him then to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So that's where Kylo ends up, where it's this whole teenage angst. Like, I'm going to prove to you that I'm the best piece of shit you've ever seen.
I'm going to be the biggest piece of shit ever. And you can't say otherwise.
Yeah, so that's where Kylo is.
So he's going to double down on this whole Vader thing, I'm thinking.
So is he still at the point of like, oh, Grandpa, give me strength? Is he still there? Or is he at that point like, no, I've made it? Like, is he at that point where he thinks so bigly of himself? And bigly is a word I used.
Bigly.
Is he so bigly of himself?
Really big.
Is he so...
Just you watch.
Does he think that he is now, like, crescendoed to that, like, I am now at
Darth Vader level?
I am now at that which I sought.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I was thinking about that this week, is how we got to this.
He killed
It's
his
like,
master, so maybe.
Right. Is he at that point where, like, oh yeah, I am now to that level. I do not need to consult anyone for darkness. I am the darkness. I am Batman.
Again.
It all comes back to Batman. Star Wars is Batman. So is he at that point, or is he still... Because the way we left it, he fought Luke.
Yeah.
And was like, ah! And like all pissed off that happened, right? It ended on that, like, oh, damn it. I didn't do it good. Like, that's how it ended with him.
Yeah.
So through that, did he like grow up and think that he is now the biggest of badasses? Or is he still questioning himself and still totally insecure, but acting like he's a total badass?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think he's just going to double down on the projected badassness that he has, or that he thinks he has. But inside, he's still questioning himself.
As he like kicks his bangs out of the way with his head, as he whips his bangs out of the way, thinking that he's totally cool.
Right.
That he colored his hair black, but his roots are still blonde.
Yes.
I didn't color my own hair. My sister did it. Fine.
I colored my own hair. I looked like a sick cancer patient because of how white my head was. When it would grow out, it looked like I was dying of cancer.
This episode is suddenly very revealing that we relate too much with Kylo Ren, and that's why we hate him because we hate ourselves.
My grandfather diddled a whore.
Her name was Syphilis.
A lot of revelations on this show.
Probably also has something to do with the alcohol we've been drinking. Too much revealed. So that is an interesting.
Where were we going with this?
Just talking about 9.
Okay,
we're flowing, Michael. It's
talk about 9,
the river of life.
No, I felt like there was a point that we had to come back to, but what is the show?
We just
points.
We started on Lando, and we were talking through 9, and we got to it feeling familiar to me, thinking about what is familiar, what even is familiar, and then just getting into like what is the movie. We like just ended up talking about all of episode 9, what we think it's going to be,
basically.
Right? That's what JJ has. What JJ has to sort out of like which direction to even go with this, and that's still the confusing thing, which I think everyone has of like, does the story group, are they just consultants for JJ to run stuff by, or did they actually be like, okay, here's the plan we had. What do you want to twist with it?
No, I think it's really. You come up with ideas, and we'll consult on it.
We'll make sure that the squares fit with the Jenga, well, not Jenga, with the Tetris board we already have laid out. Right?
Where's this metaphor going?
Like they have to make sure all the pieces fit with all the pieces that already exist in the puzzle.
Right, they have to guide them to make sure it's still in universe, and I think that's what happened with Ryan. Like
make sure nothing is too ridiculous that it doesn't fit with stuff that's already existed.
Right, he wrote the story and came up with all the ideas, but they, I think, helped guide him into this is in universe, and these events happen, so take that into account, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I think it's the same thing with JJ. So here's a question: do you think Kylo will die at the end of this movie?
I mean, he's either redeemed or he dies, right? There's no other option.
You don't think it would be an open thread? I don't think it would be, right?
To continue to for him to continue to be the bad guy?
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
I don't think so.
You think he would be redeemed?
He either has to die or he's redeemed. Like I think that's those are the two options.
Okay, I could be on board with that, yeah.
And I honestly could see either one happening. But at the same time, if it ends happy, where does it go with these characters after that?
Yeah. So I'm thinking,
is it just like, okay, the next movie is just a rom-com of Star Wars land, right? Because they can't do that.
A rom-com? What are you talking about?
Like, so what happens if it ends happy? Like, Kylo is saved and he's a good guy now and everything is happy. What happens if, like, what is the continuation of that saga of the new characters?
Oh, I don't know.
Something bad has to happen to continue.
Yeah, that is like the end of a sitcom or something.
Right. Like, oh, everyone's good now and they're all sitting on that couch that's been in the whole show. And they're, I don't know whether
that couch, the Star Wars couch.
Yeah.
No, so I'm thinking because of Kylo's progression this whole time, because of the whole false reality thing and doubling down, I think, on the hatred and all that stuff and just wanting to be alone, I think he's beyond salvation at this point. Because
I would think so.
He opened himself up for that with Rey, and Rey turned him down, which is basically what everyone else in his life has done to him. Where he's been vulnerable with people, and his master tried to kill him, and I don't know if he feels this way, but his parents abandoned him.
Right.
All that stuff. So I think he made himself vulnerable for the last time with Rey, saying like, hey, please, just, I need you. Please, I need somebody. Please come with me.
Yeah.
Everyone I know is dead or whatever. And she turned him down. So I think at this point, he's gone.
Right.
So I think
his girlfriend ditched him. He's in his basement, black lights, posters. Yeah.
Right.
He's at that point in Vader's castle. He's lying on the futon with his head hanging off the edge, crying. Yeah, I got it.
Luke trolled him at his dying moments.
Just totally humiliated him in front of the First Order.
Thought he was redeemable.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah. Luke was like, I had forgotten about that until just now.
Yeah.
Even Luke was
he
like,
realized he was beyond repair.
right, he's beyond saving.
Because he was beyond.
I mean, actually, even in Force Awakens, when Han went out to get him, and Leia was like, "Bring back our
bring our
son."
son back. Yeah.
Yeah, and even Han seemed unconvinced that he could.
Yeah, and I mean,
He went to
because
try,
he's
but-
beyond anything rational.
Yeah,
Like he's just not rational anymore. He's just like, I'm gonna show you,
right.
and he won't see anything else.
So whether it becomes a thing like in Return of the Jedi, where at the last possible moment before death, he kind of redeems
But
himself.
that's too. That they can't.
Well, see,
they
there's
cannot,
that familiar
They
feel.
cannot redo that.
What if that happens? What would you think
No.
about that? You wouldn't like that?
No, not at all.
Even if it made sense with the story because of his progression.
No.
Are you saying no, it's not going to
He needs
happen?
to die sadly and horribly.
Jeez.
Not for my own wishes.
So
But
what is
I think
what has he done
you can't
to deserve
you can't
that?
just keep redoing the movies, right? You can't just keep.
Well, see, I mean, it's
And
JJ
it
we're
has
talking
been
about
it
here.
has been a cycle, but I think at this point, especially after the Last Jedi, like it has to be like, screw you. This is Star Wars. Shit's real now, because 8
What do you mean by that?
8 was as I don't know, as much as Star Wars is a kids movie. 8 was not very kid friendly.
There's some very deep, real themes in it. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like my 4-year-old can watch The Force Awakens and be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
My 4-year-old cannot watch The Last Jedi and understand what the hell's going on. Because there's a lot of like emotional,
There's a surface
there's like an
level of
emotional depth
understanding
to it
you can have.
that a 4-year-old's not going to understand.
Yeah.
Maybe
right, but the deeper stuff
younger
he's not
kids,
gonna
10,
pick up
12,
on.
I'm sure, understand that to some extent, but
Older
not to
kids,
the
you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
but not to the extent that like people of our age would.
Yeah.
Where we're like, yeah, he's a jaded old man, just like me. You know, where it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, you did a bad thing, you felt bad for the rest of your life, and have
Yeah.
like talked yourself into the fact that you're a horrible person because of this one bad thing you did.
hmm
Even though everyone else like has been understanding, you won't let it go.
Yeah.
So you have brought yourself to this depth where you even feel that you yourself are unredeemable. But at the same time, like what you did caused a horrible thing to happen that also is unredeemable. And in your last act, you're trying to redeem it. You attempt to somewhat redeem it.
Well, he does though. I mean, he realized you're talking about Luke, right?
Yeah.
He does. I mean, he realizes he doesn't get to the point where it's like he lets that history and this, this.
Well, that's what had happened
this
up to this
worldview-
point, up to the end of episode 8. That's where he was, where he's like, I have
Yeah,
done
and
this
it
horrible
took-
thing, and I cannot come back from that.
It took an outsider, Ray, from nowhere to show him what was happening, and then he
Exactly.
redeemed himself. So I
Yes.
think, I think I don't think that's going to happen for. Well, see, I don't know where you are.
I don't think Kylo needs redemption.
Where you are with he could live or die. I think he's going to die.
Yes,
Or no, you said not live or die, but like be redeemed or die.
right.
I don't think he's going to necessarily be redeemed and then join them against some greater evil at the end.
Okay.
Not in that sense, but I think he's going to be evil up until the very last moment, and then
Oh shit! Which is
Yeah,
what
I don't
Darth. I
know.
mean, that's Darth Vader's story. I mean,
is he going to say his prayers while he's falling
Is
down
that Darth
the cliff?
Vader
or-
been like at the very end realizing? But that's because there was a greater evil than Darth Vader. Darth Vader had a greater evil to turn and then fight.
Yeah.
Kylo's not going to have that.
Whereas, unless Kylo.
Unless there is something else suddenly introduced, which I think would be way off base at this point because you need to wrap up the story that's already being told.
As much as we want that.
Kylo, I don't think Kylo's going to get that, so there's no reason for him to turn to help other than just turning to be like, "Oh, I'm dying. I regret everything."
The greater evil, I guess you could say, is this First Order
The-
regime that
the
he's helped
space Nazis,
establish.
yeah.
Yeah. I think he could do something to turn against that. To help redeem the galaxy, quote unquote. But
I mean, at that point, I don't know. That's all Hux at this point.
Is it though?
But
Hux
it was
is his little
it
bitch.
was Hux. Yes, Hux was in charge of the First Order. Was keyword.
What do you mean? No, he wasn't.
Hux was like,
he would always report to Snoke.
well, yes, but Hux was he started after his father. He was like he trained the children and all of that. And Hux was,
but
like,
he still had to be accountable to Snoke.
Yes, to Snoke. But Hux was like the First Order correspondent, if you will. Like Snoke trusted.
I guess he
Snoke
had
trusted
more power.
Snoke trusted Hux to take care of and reap rewards with the First Order.
Yeah.
Kylo doesn't give a shit about Hux or the First Order.
Kylo's going to be.
He wants to use them as a tool for what he wants to do.
Yeah, I could see.
Whereas Snoke kind of gave Hux like carte blanche to, like, here's what I want done, but otherwise have at it.
Right.
But Kylo's
going to be more
Kylo's not going to do that, especially after we saw what happened in 8 with him like flipping Hux all over the place, slamming him into ceilings and walls and floors. And Hux is a total bitch because his dad was a total bitch.
All right.
If you've read
Phasma.
If you've read the Phasma book. So like Kylo's not going to care at all what Hux wants. He's going to just force him into submission, which Hux is already there at the end of 8.
Yeah.
Right. So now Kylo has the full first order pretty much at his disposal because he's forced that upon them.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, he could.
So even their control, I don't think, is going to be as strong because Kylo doesn't even know what he's doing.
Well, no, I think that's an even stronger argument for that, because if Kylo is so ingrained now into the First Order and has him at his very bidding,
but that's also going to make. But in a way, that'll make them weaker.
Yeah, maybe. Because of how shitty he is.
Yeah, because he's driven by emotion. Whereas they've like conquered everything, right? Yeah. Like they've basically taken, like the Nazis, they've just taken over and instilled their order on planets and systems. But now Kylo's going to be like, I have this mission and I'm going to use all of everything at my disposal, whether it's good for what has taken place or not, to get my way. And I think that's going to make them weaker in the long run.
It'd be cool, actually, is to see, I think we talked a little bit about this a while ago, but you know how the First Order seems a little simplistic and limited up until now?
Ish, yeah.
I mean,
from what we've been shown in the films.
That's what I mean. Right. In the films, from what we've seen, they don't look as big and as scary as they're made out to be. We've talked about this before.
And it comes across that way in the films. But if you've read any of the ancillary materials, like any books, like you understand they have this full plan and way that they're trained and everything.
Infrastructure.
They definitely seem much stronger once you've read like novels and stuff like that.
Sure.
But in the films, they seem like.
Well, that's so I'm saying.
All you see is this group that is with Kylo and Snoke traveling around chasing the Resistance, whereas otherwise they are kind of everywhere controlling planets.
Right. And my point is, it would be cool to see in 9 kind of more of that infrastructure and strength, and have that kind of be at odds with Kylo, because I'm sure that there's an agenda coming from a group of people or the organization that is in charge of the First Order, that's
Hux.
Well, see, but there's got to be, that's the military side of it. There's got to be a whole government side of it too.
Was there? Was that just Snoke?
Like, it wouldn't necessarily be like the Imperial Senate like it was before with the Galactic Empire.
Sure.
Or before that, before the Senate was disbanded.
But I mean, Hux is
there has to be some kind of government side of that, right?
Yes, and Hux is given all those. I mean, he gave a speech in The Force Awakens, and
that was to the military, though.
Right, but his whole thing is to
have military rule, I guess.
Right, and that's kind of all they are. Is
a military organization.
They see the Resistance and the Resistance now, and then the New Republic as this unruly,
inefficient
government.
Yeah.
Whereas just like the Empire, from the Imperial side, not from the just like Snoke and not from not from Vader and all that side.
Yeah.
They had this whole like power hungry thing, but like from Tarkin and all of that was like restoring order, and the First Order is like having some kind of order that isn't like the what they see as the hippies of the New Republic, basically.
Okay.
Like the New Republic is kind of like hippies, where it's like everyone take care of yourself and love each other.
Yeah.
Which
They're like, no, there has to be
it has to be an order because there's like this unruly galaxy because of this, because no one's instilling this order over everyone.
Right.
And that's Hux's whole thing. Which kind of seems just like, I mean, obviously from the artistic side, the art direction of everything, they are the space Nazis, right?
Yeah.
That is their whole thing, which I don't think there is a government past the military.
Peace comes through, their idea of peace comes through strict rule and law and order, and
they are the Nazis of Star Wars.
And
I don't think there's anything other than
and all that.
I don't think there's anything other than military. I don't think there is a government. I think it is just military rule. It's just everything is under military rule.
I was just thinking about the origins of the First Order coming from the New Republic Senate, and all of these senators and government powers
backing it.
Yeah, that were backing this, that were getting tired of the inefficiency of the New Republic.
Right.
And wanting, and like pining for the days of the Imperial Senate and the control that the Imperials had, the Galactic Empire had. So it came from a government kind of motivation. But at some point, it
probably had, at some point, especially with Snoke, and we still don't...
Government origin.
We still don't know what the hell happened with Snoke, right? We still don't have that story. Where is he from?
Yeah,
how did he get involved? And that's like the one frustrating thing that, okay, fine, it doesn't have anything to do with the saga. I get that. Yeah. That's where a lot of people are frustrated, obviously.
Yeah.
But I understand that, and as frustrating as it is, fine. I understand how film works and how there's going to be a story at some point, right? There's going to be a story at some point. If there's not, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think they know that. So, like, at some point, Snoke got involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at some point it had to become unwieldy for the senators. At some point it became larger than they, right? I mean that's how I see it, where it's like they were backing this thing that then suddenly was like, we don't need you anymore.
Maybe.
I mean, possibly.
Maybe.
Which I feel like from, I don't know, I don't want to go off on World War II, but with the Nazis, like at some point there was like a, let's, make things better. Oh shit, you're doing horrible things. Oh no. Right.
Well, with Germany, I would say, with the German public, there was more of a, it's this time of unrest and economic,
let's do it.
Bunch
oh
of
no, you're doing it wrong. No, don't do that. Oh, why are you doing that?
Right. So everybody felt
that's how it happened.
Everybody felt like everything was spiraling out of control, and then suddenly there comes this guy with these great ideas about unifying Germany again,
but not telling you the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Germany being
he meant that totally different than we thought. That's not what we do.
Well, it's the same thing. I don't want to get into politics.
Right. But in fake make-believe space politics,
I was just gonna say it started with small steps, and the small steps eventually got to a point where you look back and you're like, oh, we came from this and now we're at this, and it's completely different now.
Yeah, first Flint doesn't have water, and then you're building the wall, and I understand. So right now we're talking about fake space politics, where I think that totally could have happened. We're like, oh, Snoke, he has these great ideas to help us with what we want. And then at some point the power dynamics switched to where he had more power than they did.
Probably.
And he was like, ha, gotcha, bitch. And they had no control over what happened at that point. Right. And they had no control over what he had, his gold slippers and his robes. And he was like, gotcha. And they don't like, oh no, we did it wrong. Sorry, Princess Leia and everybody else. I could see that happening, where and because obviously with the art direction, they are very directly referencing Nazis, right? With all of that. And so that kind of seems where it is this militaristic rule. And I don't think there's like, we got off on this tangent of like, I don't think there is a government. I don't think there is anything controlling other than just military rule on these planets.
Yeah, maybe I could see that.
And
so you're saying Kylo has an even tighter control over the First Order.
And Kylo is just like, when he wants something from them, they jump.
They have to do it
because at that point it's kind of like Vader, where someone says something and then he force chokes them over the phone, right? Over the space phone. Fine, you happy? Right? I mean, that's what's happening. I think at this point with Kylo, I think that's where we're going to see him.
What was that show
after
where
this time
somebody
jump.
was on the phone and then the other end she
Someone
shot a
shot
gun
it?
through the phone headset and it shot the guy on the other end?
Was that a Naked Gun movie?
No, it was was it called Danger Force 5 or what was that?
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that show made in like the mid 2000s?
It's on Netflix. Right?
Yeah, I forget the name of it.
I understand. I know what you're talking about.
It was really good.
So that seems where Kylo's going to go. We got off on this huge long tangent about where we think Kylo's going to be.
Danger 5.
Danger 5.
Yeah.
You were close. Speaking of episode 9 and where things are going to be, apparently Kerry Russell has been cast for a very action-heavy role.
Oh, that's great. Oh, yeah.
One, Kerry Russell is cool. That's good. I like Kerry Russell.
She's a woman.
Well, obviously
Tyler, she's a woman.
Thousands of people will be
There's
angry.
been a woman cast at Star Wars. What are we gonna do?
Thousands of people will be angry.
It's time to boycott.
Literally dozens of them will be angry. But
There are dozens of us.
I tweeted the other day that like I mentioned to my wife, I was like, hey, it looks like they're casting Kerry Russell. She's like, oh, that's cool. She's good. She's like, she kind of looks like Daisy Ridley. And I was like, oh shit, why'd you say that?
She's like doing something. And, oh, she kind of looks like Daisy Ridley, and then goes back to what she's doing.
There's like this darkness.
On your
There's
head.
like this darkness that comes over my face,
Yeah.
and like me slowly putting on a tinfoil hat and like loosening my tie. Yeah. So she instantly said that. I was like, oh shit, no.
Bring up a
No.
lit cigarette.
Right. It's already lit.
Yeah.
So I was this sudden like, oh no. And then like in the last 24 hours, I've seen like posts from websites of like, Kerry Russell could be Rey's mom. And like other ones like, Kerry Russell should not be Rey's mom. So like apparently everyone is on that train now because a woman was cast in Star Wars. So obviously she's Rey's mother. Because that's the only thing that could be possible with women.
What was it before? Laura Dern?
Women are moms or nothing. That's what everyone on the internet is like with Star Wars. What is she gonna be if not a mom? Is she a cook?
What, is she gonna be? Not Rey's mom? That doesn't make any sense.
If she's not a mom, what does she do?
Where's the sandwich maker?
Which I feel like there was some of that with Laura Dern at first when she was cast. Like, oh, what is she? Who is she related to? Like, every woman can just be a woman. Just damn, it's space. There's a lot of space. Let there be women. God,
Let there be women.
every day I pray.
That's a good decree.
Right.
I'm glad that that you said that. So now you've given the permission.
But she does look like she could be related to Daisy Ridley.
I guess because
She better not be Rey's mom.
because she has angular features. Well, I don't see the resemblance.
A little bit. So my wife said that, and I was suddenly like, no. And then I, ran off into my dark room to think about it.
I don't know. She doesn't look like Daisy Ridley to
And
me.
everyone is talking about that now, which, one, she doesn't have to be Rey's mom. She can be her own person. That's a thing women can do. Two, I really hope.
What is this?
Two, I really hope she's not Rey's mom, because even though we mentioned this earlier in the episode and in previous episodes where that was left ambiguous, I really don't want for JJ to go back on that, to be like, Kylo was saying that to get Rey to join him,
Right.
just to like twist the knife in her back.
Right.
So I hope
right.
she's just another empowered female doing the things that they do. Because I do like Kerry Russell, and I think she'll be good. She's a great actress, and I don't want her to be Rey's mom. I want her to be her own person. That's a cool, another new character that we have.
I'm trying to remember what I've seen her from. I think. No, I don't know.
She's been in a lot of like shows that no one watches recently. I feel like stuff on like USA or A&E, maybe.
She was on Scrubs.
Yeah,
I think I remember that.
I think she was on a show called like The Americans or something.
Yeah, I never did watch that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I remember her from.
But like when I see all this stuff, like this was like, in the last week, people have been talking about Kerry Russell being cast supposedly. I remember the stuff with Laura Dern and people being like, this woman with the purple dress and the crazy hair couldn't possibly be an admiral, and people being like, their admiral's a literal fish man right now. Why not her? They had a fish man as an admiral, and you're saying that a woman couldn't be an admiral. Like, I feel like that with her. Like, she shouldn't be Rey's mom, or she is Rey's mom. Like, she could be
something else.
Fuck all.
Anything.
Right? She could be anything. Why are we impressing upon her motherhood all of a sudden?
She's a new character. Give me a break.
Right. It's that whole thing again of just like, there's another woman in Star Wars. Whose mom is she? God.
Whose mom is she?
Right. I mean, isn't that how it feels at this point? With, like,
oh, great. Whose mom is she?
Isn't that how it feels with Star Wars at this point? Like, there's another woman. Like, okay, whose mom? Who did she give birth to as her only purpose is?
So stupid.
It's just, for some reason, that's like every blog post and website post is like why she should or should not be Rey's mom.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about who she could be otherwise? Other than Rey being like the only woman you can talk about in Star Wars now, because I guess the rest of them that we know are dead.
All the women?
Well,
all the women are dead?
Carrie Fisher died in real life, and then Laura Dern's character in Star Wars died.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And so we've got Carrie Fisher's daughter.
All these big main characters.
Right. All the big main character women are dead. So and they listed this as an action heavy role.
Important. Maybe I should say important, not big. All these big women are dead. Poor choice of words.
Yes. So like at this point, like
all these large character women.
So we do have no main women actors other than Rey at this point. That Carrie Fisher's daughter, I'm sure, is still going to be a big part.
We still have Kelly Marie Tran. I imagine Rose will come back, right?
I imagine Rose will be back. And they mention this as an action heavy role. I don't see Rey's mom showing up and being like a total badass action woman.
She's like the
unless she's Mara Jade and she's Luke's daughter, and God forbid any of that happen.
Oh, good Lord! Can you imagine?
I could.
All the neck
and I can imagine me being very upset for like a second, and then being like totally on board and happy. Just because that's how I am when I see a Star Wars movie. Where I'm just like, okay, that's the thing now, yay! Whereas other people, for some reason, can't
vibrate your seat out of the theater.
The whole row becomes unhinged. Yeah.
As you're rocking back and forth.
Right. Because unlike other people, they can't, for some reason, distance themselves from reality, where it's like, okay, that's the thing they told me is real now, so yay, let's go forward with that. Which, as much as I talk shit about Solo or other things, like, once it happens, I'm like, okay, that's the thing now. That's the thing they've told me is the thing. So now I believe that thing is the thing.
Do you think she's going to come back as Rey's mom and be like the Sarah Connor type defending against?
With time travel and all of that? Yes. No. I don't want her to be Rey's mom.
Time
I just want her to be
now.
Another... Shut your mouth. I just want her to be another character. Not Rey's mom. The internet. Stop.
We're way over.
We're doing good. Real quick. Ron Bergman, the producer of The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson's like partner producing pretty much anything he does, was recently talking about his trilogy, saying, kind of backing the fact that it's a completely new trilogy that Rian Johnson has created, and it's all new characters. Everything is new. And then they questioned him about like, okay, so when's it going to come out? And he said, I can't tell you because we don't know yet. Maybe in 2 years. It's just in the early stages.
Wow.
2 years would be nice. So if episode 9 comes out
this year, no, next year.
Next year, we have a year and a half between Star Wars movies, which is what's hard.
Yeah.
So it comes out next year, and then we get it in 2020, 2021. That's not too bad.
You think there'll be another standalone in between?
It doesn't sound like there's going to be any of those. Possibly, if the rumors is true.
The rumor is true.
Yeah.
The rumor has come out.
Right. But in the meantime, what we'll have before episode 9 is the live action, or not the live action, the Resistance show, which is coming out this fall.
Yeah.
Which we've gotten some artwork from. There was a Disney thing.
And the live action show.
There was a Disney thing in France that they showed some artwork for the Resistance like anime cartoon thing created by Dave Filoni, which looks cool. The main character really looks like Ezra from the Rebels, so...
Which is obnoxious.
Kind of, like, he looks too similar.
Yeah.
Like, it's annoyingly similar, like, why not have someone that looks completely different?
Another, young teen.
Right. Like, he looks too young to be the person that is infiltrating the First Order.
Yeah, I don't.
And then Jon Favreau...
This is a fighter pilot show, right? So
yes.
is he a fighter pilot?
Yeah, he infiltrates the First Order. That's the whole story. Is he
Oh.
infiltrates the First Order as
Did
a
I
spy.
miss that? I must have
I
missed
guess
Oh.
he's like spying on the First Order for them.
Hmm.
And then John
In a
Favreau,
plane?
yes,
From a
they're
plane?
always hovering above them everywhere they go.
Every episode it
They're
cuts
like,
back
what is
to
this
him,
plane? They're like, just ignore it. It's
and
always
he's
there.
just looking down with binoculars.
He's standing on top of it.
It looks like there's some ants.
And then John Favreau,
There's a
talking
lot
about
of
his
ants
live
down
action
there.
show recently, stated that the live action series will focus on a batch of all new characters and will take place 7 years after the Battle of Endor.
A batch.
So everything is taking place in that period between Endor and the beginning of The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So the Resistance and the live action show.
What, you mean the 30 years in between?
Well, I guess there's a large period.
Was it 30? No. It's not 30 years. What was it?
No. Yeah. It might have been, actually.
Why don't
I'm
I
trying to
know
remember from the
this?
Battle of Jakku, from the Battle of Endor. it
Why
may
do we
been
have
around
this show
30
if we
years.
can't remember things like this?
Because we got to talk to ourselves somehow.
Talk to ourselves.
Right. It was around 30 years. And I mean, so yeah, so there, we've got a live action show 7 years after the Battle of Endor, and we've got the Resistance, which is in the beginning of the First Order, which is probably a few years before the Force Awakens. So
30 years later, yeah.
right. So you've got like this one that's probably
That's
like
a
a few
lot
years.
of time.
A few years before the Force Awakens will be Resistance, and then a few years after the Endor will be the live action show, which will be it'll be after that period of the Chuck Wendig novels, right? Because that was only the couple years after.
Yeah.
So the Shattered Empire, will be gone at that point, which is interesting. At that point, the Empire
The
has
Shattered Empire will be gone. What do you mean?
Well, at
What are you
that
talking
point,
about?
after the
Oh,
aftermath,
they will have already. Yeah.
after the aftermath novels, they had left.
The treaty will have already been signed, and
Right.
and all of that stuff.
They
Yeah.
left and are in the unknown regions where Thrawn helped them get to, basically.
Uh-huh.
So the treaty had been signed. So it's very interesting to think that at that point, we have a somewhat peaceful galaxy.
So it'll be between Last Shot. Last Shot takes place exactly 7 years after Battle of Yavin.
So it'd be right after it.
Oh, Battle of Yavin. So that's
Yeah,
that's not right.
even
So
longer.
so
So it'll be
um,
after that.
Well, then what was?
So
four?
it's like it's
okay. So it'll be about 12 ABY,
Yeah.
which is in between Last Shot and Bloodline. We don't have anything in that time period right now.
So it's after the peace treaty has been signed, but while the New Republic's being built.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So is this the Star Wars Law and Order TV show that is going to be like? Is this the
Law
this
and
the-
Order.
is this the-
Cheers? You're talking about?
no, not Cheers.
Oh.
Like Law and Order. Like, is this the Star Wars like political show? That
Oh,
right?
the political drama.
I'm just thinking about because I was thinking about that time period. Like, okay, this is
That
after
still
everything.
sounds really interesting.
This is after everything's wrapped up with the Empire.
Yeah.
This is before the New Republic is like fully under control and starting to get into that unrest of the First Order being built. Like they're still in that unrest.
A little bit.
Like they still all don't agree. All the senators and everything.
Well, this is the time period where they're having to figure everything out again.
Right. And it's before Bloodlines where the First Order stuff starts to happen.
Yeah.
And it all falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this, like it's in that period of political building of like building the New Republic.
Uh-huh.
So is that what the show is going to be? A live action, basically Star Wars, like Law and Order, like I don't know.
I would really like to
the
see that.
political. Is it going to be a Star Wars political drama?
Yeah.
Because that's what we've been talking about wanting different Star Wars shows,
Mm-hmm.
especially like that. That's what you can do with the TV shows, especially like
Right.
you could have a Star Wars Cheers or a Star Wars anything else.
Uh-huh.
Like, is that what's going to be? And if so, that sounds awesome.
I really.
I would be
that
totally on
still
board
sounds
for
like
a
good
political
idea.
drama Star Wars TV show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at this point, given the time period, that's like the perfect time period for it to take place.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
yeah, exciting.
because in Bloodline they were just finding out about all of these growing forces that had eventually become the First Order.
Right.
I think at this point, I don't know if maybe there would be like rumblings of unrest here and there, but
Well, they're still just trying to get things under control.
I'd
Like,
say
yay, we won. Now what do we do?
Now what? Exactly.
Here's how do we build this back up with Mothma and
Yeah.
Leia, and I don't think
How do we
either of
build
those-
something that works and is going to last
Right.
and doesn't repeat the mistakes of the old Republic? Yeah, all of that stuff.
right.
I would say, yeah, I think that's what this would get into, but not necessarily getting to the point of, well, this isn't working, and here comes the First Order, starting to build up.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it would quite get to that point yet, because this is 12 years, 14 years, or whatever before Bloodline.
Okay, so it's like too early for there to be trouble,
Yeah,
but it's early enough to for them to be figuring stuff out still.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. So what is going on that would make a lasting TV show other than a political drama, which
Right.
I think would be really interesting.
Or it ends up being like all of the politicians' aides, and it's like Scrubs.
Star Wars Scrubs.
That's the other option,
That's possible.
which I condone both of those. Yeah, just to do that. No, but yeah, if it is a Star Wars political drama live action TV show, I am 100% on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an extremely good and cool and different idea. Yeah. Well, Michael, we've talked for a long time.
It's been good. This is a good one.
It was a good one. Maybe
This
we
is-
just need to drink more before we record these things.
I agree.
Or just in general. Just let me stop you there.
Maybe just we need to drink more.
let me stop you with that first part.
You had me at drink more. Captain Drink More.
Is that your name now?
Huh?
Is that your name now? Is that you're gonna start wearing a hat?
Yeah. I'm going to
Fancy
be a boat captain. Captain Drink More.
If you're gonna be a captain, you need to start calling them ships. Otherwise, you're not a captain.
I'm a boat captain. I didn't say I was a ship captain. I'm a boat captain. When you think of a boat, what do you think of? Like a really,
Like a dinghy.
like
Yeah.
a really
It doesn't have sails.
deep, fat thing.
It doesn't have sails and might have a trolling motor, but that's it.
I'm a boat captain.
You're just standing on a boat in a marina with no oars or anything, just standing there yelling that to passersby.
Captain Drink More.
All right, this has been long enough. So,
The show, long enough.
if you like this show, you can go on iTunes. And
How
give us-
could you?
It's question your life choices. You can go on iTunes, give us some stars and a rating and review and whatnot. Wherever else that's also available, do that too.
Hey, if you review us, we'll read it on the air.
Yep, we'll do that.
That was a very... Oh, okay. We're doing that now?
I agree. We haven't had a fresh review in a while, so if you listen to
Yes,
this and have
and-
not reviewed the show, please do it. If you really, really like the show for some god-awful reason, you can go on patreon.com/hokey religion and support us with as little as $1 a month. At $2.50 a month, you get a free sticker. So do that. Otherwise, you can find us on the, our audios on YouTube and Stitcher
Our last
and
review-
everywhere else.
Our last review on iTunes was from January 29th, 2018 from Darth Sean 247.
Is that your brother?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. It just says, "You are hilarious."
They're right. Don't you agree? Leave us a review.
You are hilarious. You
So-
show.
It's so validating.
You show are hilarious.
They didn't say if the show was good. They just mentioned we were funny.
You are hilarious.
Just a robot. Oh god. You can reach us at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com and email us with all of your questions, or just email us answers. Don't give us a question. Just send us an answer, and we'll come up with the question.
That's way better. I really like that.
You send us answers, and we'll come up with a question for
What
it.
the question was.
Yeah. Do that, please.
Please
sounds,
do that.
That sounds really, really
Do that on Twitter
really
or
fun.
email or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you can get us on Twitter at hokey_religion, and we're on Facebook. We have a page there as well at Hokey Religion. Send us answers. Just send us answer : and
we'll
then
give
write
you
an
the
answer,
question.
and then we'll come up with a question on air because that sounds super fun.
His
But
other
it has to give us a Star Wars related answer, just because obviously that's the show. But if you can't think of a Star Wars answer, give us any other answer, and we'll probably
come
still
up-
use it.
Yeah, this will become Love Line. His other reviews, real quick, are: I absolutely love this podcast. It's a must for any Star Wars fan. Keep up the awesome work, Alan.
See, Alan likes it.
20 out of 20.
What?
Next review.
Okay.
I absolutely love Lego, and this podcast is a must for all Lego fans. 10 out of 10.
What?
So his scales are relative here.
Lego?
These are different. These aren't reviews for us. These are
This
different
is
for other shows.
Star Wars shows.
I'm saying the other reviews for this account. He reviewed Star
Oh,
Wars
the same
7x7 and Inside Lego podcast.
So a guy that likes Star Wars likes us. So you should too. That's the
But please vary your scale weights accordingly.
what, 20 out of 20 and
20 out of 20 and 10 out of 10.
Well, and we're just, you are funny, you are hilarious.
Yeah, and then our review is great podcast, you are hilarious.
Well, that's really all we needed. Validation that we do this for a reason other than to talk to ourselves for an hour and a half. Well, Michael, do you have anything else? I hope not.
You are hilarious.
I know. This has been Tyler.
This is Michael.
I will no
And
longer
has
continue
been.
to be Tyler after this episode.
Next week. Not next week.
Next
2 weeks
week,
from now, we will have a different
known
host.
as the Syphilis. All right.
Syphilis.
That's the end of the episode.
The Grandpa Diddler.
Roll the music.
Where's the...
Jesus.
Which music do you want to roll?
The
Never mind, here it
cheers-
is.
Hokey religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey religion is an ancient weapon, so no magic for a good blaster at your side.